Okay, Winnie, we're recording. So we decided just to let people file in. This is going to be recorded anyway. So we were talking about, yes, today I'm 50, and you were
Okay.
asking about ascendant, which I'm going to get into. But to answer your question, no, I was not born in April. What was rising in the east at the time of your birth
Mm-hmm.
is your ascendant. It's the first house, it's your body, it's your mind, it's every way that you express yourself on this planet.
Okay.
Western tropical astrology, you are actually looking at the sun sign,
Okay.
which for me would be Sagittarius, not Capricorn. And the reason being is because sidereal is behind some because we do not use the seasons to split up the sky. We
Mm-hmm.
use the stars, so the fixed
Okay.
stars, which I'm going to go through in a minute.
Okay.
So I
All
just
right.
want to let everybody know, just don't be overwhelmed.
Okay.
I put it together so that this is a nice natural flow. It's not really a course, it's an introduction so that you kind of know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay?
All
All
right.
right,
Sounds
so
good.
I'm going to actually close down this chat so it's not in my way. Okay, so I'm Phyllis Kentleton. My background is Vedic astrology, obviously, and a lot of the other Vedic sciences. I do study and practice yoga. I do study and practice Ayurveda, Champi, which is Indian head massage, and
Oh.
Shirodara, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't use any of that in my career. Basically, I am a gateway to Vedic astrology so that people know exactly what it is, how it works, so
Mm-hmm.
they can make an educated uh, decision as to whether they want to go farther. I can
Okay.
take them into being a level 1 Vedic astrologer or just to use it for themselves, because the first course that I'm offering here is how to understand your own horoscope through Vedic astrology, because my belief is one has to know oneself before we can help other people.
Correct.
And when we do that, once we've broken open our secrets and our purpose in that, we can certainly then reach out and expand. So my education comes from, first I started with Sam Satsiva Gepi, um, the Vedic art and science, Michael Reed of Authentic Astrology, Ryan Kirksack of Asheville Astrology, Kapil Raj, which is one of the best guys out there as far as breaking down the material. I actually use a lot of his videos in my classes, of KRS channel, and astrologyofbharat.org, which I actually work with now. So when I send people to get specific charts done, it goes to them. They're fabulous. And of course, Ernest Wilhelm.
Okay.
Yeah, he is one of the more popular ones. Some of them use tropical with Vedic, and that's something I'm also going to touch on as well. I am a Hindu in the heart. I'm very traditionalized. I will only do sidereal Vedic, and not because I'm a stickler,
Mm-hmm.
but because I have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel with what I'm doing to show people exactly what the difference is, so that later on, if they do want to use tropical with sidereal or just sidereal, they will know what our side is and what it entails without becoming confused.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I have such a love for it that I have nothing against tropical, but I just can't even, it does not turn me on. This flips my lid.
Yeah.
Reason being is because I like depth. And once I discovered Vedic astrology, I became obsessed for close to 3 years. I couldn't stop. And I mean, I really couldn't stop. Because when you look at yourself through that lens, you are absolutely never the same. So, absolutely be prepared to not, even if you have gotten your chart done before,
Mm-hmm.
this will kind of peel the layers away from you and take the blinders off about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, and otherwise, you'll know exactly where you stand in life, and you'll know your purpose probably better than ever.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
So Vedic astrology is really derived from the Vedic studies, even though it's not in the Vedic holy texts.
Mhm.
It was an oral tradition 5,000 years ago that was passed down, and it was collected later on by sage Parashara Horashastra. He wrote the Horashastra, and that is going to be in one of the links, the PDFs that I offer in the class. You'll get all that reading, so you don't have to worry about knowing where to find it or anything.
Okay.
And all of what I teach as a gateway to Vedic astrology comes from that sage and that book, so that I know that we are working with the truth in
Okay.
this. Okay. Vedic astrology is, it's significant to know. Let's do this. Here we go. Fundamental differences between Vedic sidereal and tropical Western. Okay.
Okay.
So, as I said, it's derived from Vedic studies. It's integrated in the culture and their everyday life. Okay. And that's something very significant to know, because that is how they choose their mates. That is how they create their children when it's time. That is they do. When you are um, when you are born, your parents will see an astrologer before you're born. See an astrologer before you're married, whether it be a love marriage or arranged marriage. Both still happen in it today. You will be matched according to that astrology. So the big differences is we might feel itchy one day and go out with the girls and get drunk and say, hey, let's go get our astrology. It's that flippant here. Superstition sort of thing.
Right.
And somebody very dear to my heart said it that way, and I thought it was wonderful. I thought, I'm going to use this. It's true. It's like voodoo superstition to people. It's like, that stuff's crap. But I'll tell you, the reason why we think that way is due to the Sunday morning paper and the astrology column when we look at our sun sign.
Right.
Okay. So let me touch on a little bit. You were talking to me, you started this off by asking about the ascendant, and I told you what the importance of the ascendant was, rising the east at the time of birth. The sun sign is important, don't get me wrong, but your sun sign is called the Atman.
Okay.
It is the soul. And the soul, it never changes. No matter how many lives we have, it doesn't change. But the ascendant does. So it becomes the focal point of your entire life and how you're going to act where? Here. Your ascendant will always automatically is going to be in the first house, directly across from the seventh house. Seventh house is how people see you. So these are two extremely important things since we're here on planet Earth around people.
Right.
The soul is out in La La Land somewhere. It's going to tell you everything you need to do very subtly.
Right.
But we don't have to even pay attention to it from day to day. Okay? All right, so here's the technical difference. Now, I'm making the technical difference very simplistically because I will have a video that explains to you the ecliptic and how the lunations of the moon work, because Indians go by the lunations, the lunar period, not the sun and the seasons, which is why the zodiacs are different. Okay. So in tropical Western, it divides the sky by the way of seasons, and sidereal Indian divides the sky by way of the stars, the fixed stars, like I was talking to you before, the nakshatras or constellations.
Okay.
One sign will occupy the one entire house. There are no cusps, okay, that
Mm-hmm.
shorten or elongate a sign's occupation as it is in Western and tropical. These people say, oh, I'm on the cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius. No,
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius is Sagittarius. Scorpio
Uh-huh.
is Scorpio.
Uh-huh.
Libra is Libra. And we look at that one house as being separate but part of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, it makes it a lot easier, okay, for
Mm-hmm.
calculations and predictions, a lot easier, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, padas are like deacons. When you discuss Western astrology with tropical, uh, they'll say, oh, I'm a first deacon Capricorn. You're January, you're a second deacon. And that means you don't like eating spaghetti on Tuesday, and I like eating meatballs on Wednesday, even though we're both Capricorn. Okay, well, sort of, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Padas are deeper. Nakshatras are run by certain deities. The padas are how the nakshatra's deity is going to play out in your life,
Mm-hmm.
in that sign, how they're going to behave. Pada 1 through 9 has different little personalities for that one constellation. So my moon is in Ashwini. Let's say Pada 1
Mm-hmm.
is going to give me the big mouth that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Ashwini Pada 3 is more what they call, I think, Satwik, kinder, gentler. So what this teaches you is you can't say to me, oh my God, you've got that Ashwini moon, I'm leaving town, I'm not even going to argue with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see somebody that says, well, I'm an Ashwini moon and I'm gentle as a lamb, she barely talks. This
Mm-hmm.
is the difference. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something that our Sunday afternoon newspaper with the sun signs makes astrology look like a toy science. It is
Mm-hmm.
something to be entertained with, like, hey baby, what's your sign? You know what I mean? Like when you're at a bar in the 70s,
That
that's what
sounds
happened to astrology. Like, I'm a Capricorn, we're going to be it tonight. No, no, not really. Because if I'm a pot of 1 and you're a pot of 3, you may absolutely repulse me, even though we're both Aries and we're both,
mm-hmm.
you know. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why people, and I'm adamant about this. This is why I love to explain this and teach it, because people sort of made it, into sort of a joke. And I'm like, no, believe it, you will fall in love with this, because trust me, when you start Vedic astrology and you really learn it, you will
Uh-huh.
wake up one day and look at your husband, your wife, your cat, your dog, your bird, your teacher, and you will see astrology.
Mm-hmm.
You will see. You remember that commercial jingle? Everything I think I see becomes a Tootsie Roll to me. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that one.
Just trade Tootsie Roll for astrology, and that is how your life is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so the nakshatras and padas are going to replace those deacons.
Mm-hmm.
Here is what Vedic astrology looks like. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have got the North Indian chart.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a little, okay, North Indian chart, and this is your ascendant. See that?
Yes.
Ding,
Uh-huh.
ding, ding. Okay, this is house 1, and it travels anti-clockwise. So house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Each set of these diamonds, which we won't get deeply into at all, but it's set up for a certain reason. These 4 houses in the middle here mean one thing. These houses out here mean something else.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have the relationship between them, you'll be able to just glance at the chart and know what you have to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Really, you will. So the ascendant is here, and on this type of chart, you will always have the ascendant here. It will never move.
Okay.
This type of chart, when you're making predictions, will highlight the houses more. This chart over here, the ascendant is going to be anywhere where there's a line like this. And then that becomes the first house. Could be here, could be here, could be here, could be here. And then all the houses go anti-clockwise. Let me tell you something. I learned on the North Indian chart, and I'm stuck to it. They moved me to the South Indian chart when I was with one of my teachers. I went, no, because it drove my head crazy.
Wow.
Because things kept moving. Okay. So I teach my people on this very simple North Indian chart, and I like the way North Indians do things anyway, you know, with this kind of stuff. So I got attached to this, and this is what you'll learn. Okay.
Okay.
When I get into aspects, I will move to the South Indian chart so that you can see aspects better, and then we'll move back to the North Indian chart for aspects, and you'll see how it works. Okay. This South Indian chart is better for dealing with signs when you want to really look into signs, if you want to do it that way. If not, you know, you can just say, forget this, and I'm going to use this. Okay, so the North Indian chart basically is what you're going to see, in class. Okay, so I went off on a little bit of a tangent here. Let me check my notes to make sure that I am not missing anything.
Okay.
I was saying, once that you become aware of your chart, you know, especially in the first lessons when we go through the planets are called grahas. Graha means to grab. And what that does is it tells you the relationship that the planets have with us. They grab onto your existence and give you the power to do what needs to be done through them. Okay? All right. So we went through the technical difference. Okay, so let's see what's next. I can't even remember myself. I'm surprising myself. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's not moving. Hang on, guys. I'm having a little bit of, I have to go back to the mouse probably. Little technical glitch. There we go. Woo! Okay.
There we are.
Woo! Okay, and I guess you got to do this. Here, you got to get rid of all the, oh God, because it's funny, the marks will stay even though the slide changes. I'm like, okay, that's totally not cool. Okay, so now that we're clear, Vedic astrologers are cosmic surgeons. Okay, so I'm going to go through each one again of these points. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I just clicked off a video just to see if you would pop in, but
no, it's okay. Don't worry, I'm cool.
Okay.
It'll just record without my face. That's all.
Okay.
Everybody that's looking don't need to see my face. I see my face all day. I'm just making sure everything is still recording. Yes, okay. So, cosmic surgeons we are. And why? Because when we open a house, we don't just look at aspects. In Western, they love aspects. They also love transits, and I'm going to go on another soapbox about transits in a minute, but they love aspects. It's a percentage, but we see what is the true dignity of the planet first. Okay. So, more than just aspects, yes, planetary dignity. Now, in Vedic astrology, you've got 60 charts, not just one.
Wow.
They're called Varga charts, and each house has a chart that can be made from it.
Wow.
One will represent fortune, one will represent children, one will represent marriage, the other will represent accidents, the other one will represent other things. So that we are able to look at those to see the power and strength of the planets in each of those Varga charts. Okay. When you learn from me, no, we will not be going through every six. So if anybody has fainted, just get back up. You're not going to do the whole 60 charts. What you will learn is the natal chart,
Okay.
and you will learn the Navamsa, which is the D9. They're D1 through D60, so D9. This is deemed your marriage chart, but from the moment that sexual relations takes place, or marriage, or 32 years of age, your adult chart kicks in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I love it. Yeah. So basically, and another fantastic person, one of my teachers that I, just said it so eloquently, and I will use it. He said, the natal chart is possibilities. Your Navamsa chart is fact.
Oh.
So that means that when you grow up, however which way, the reflections of your soul and your purpose and your karmas, those possibilities will be worked out through your Navamsa chart, because you even change signs in your Navamsa chart. Example.
I see.
Yeah, I am a natural Aries. Fire converts to fire. Okay. I have become a Leo ascendant in my adult chart. Okay. Now, does that mean that everything that rules me in my natal chart goes away? No, it becomes a transmutation and an enhancement in my adult chart. It's who I become to the world in adulthood and in marriage. You can see the spouse, what kind of a spouse somebody will have, and that's a treat. That's an extra free class to see about spouses I'm going to do.
Okay.
But going back to this, the planetary dignity, the strength of the planets will change from your natal chart, for good or for bad, into your Navamsa chart.
Okay.
Example, I have Saturn with my North Node Rahu sitting together happily, making my life a little nuts in the 12th house. In Pisces, my Saturn is lost. Saturn doesn't know what to do in that water. Saturn likes structure. But in my Navamsa chart, he gets thrown into what's called Mul Trikona. Mul Trikona means that he is at home in Aquarius, because with Vedic astrology, he will, Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn. In the 7th house, he is there. He is there, which is the reason why I have so much to do with spiritual community. Whereas in the 12th house, it's spiritual. That's what makes it spiritual. In the Navamsa chart, it converts into spiritual community. This is what I have found. Okay. So he gains power there. Not as much power as being exalted, but he's at home. He's not staying at the Holiday Inn. He's not staying at his best friend Venus's house. He's home. So he functions pretty well. Okay?
Okay.
So that's what you're looking for. When you look at your chart or you're looking at somebody else's chart, you're looking for the strength.
Wow.
Now, the next thing, when you're going back to the to either of the charts, but we'll work on the natal chart, is the nakshatra. The nakshatras are named and have deities and have, oh my God, at least 30 or 40 things they each represent within them. Now, do you have to memorize all this? Absolutely not. You just have to have the basics of which each nakshatra is and continue your study. Whenever you are looking at a person's chart or your own and you see something in that house that may be an issue, look deeper into the nakshatra and the pada that it's, sits. These things all have to be synergized together, which is why in the class we pick apart each house, each planet, each nakshatra in my sample chart, etc. Okay, so you can actually see it happening.
Okay.
Aspects. Now we can go to aspects. Aspects are important, but aspects are how a planet is benefiting or how it's receiving detriment from other planets. They each look at each other in very specific ways, in very specific degrees. So, you know, like saying a planet has a third from itself, seventh from itself, and ninth from itself. You would look at those houses. Okay, so in my chart, since Aries is at first house, whenever you hear count 3 from itself, you count, let's go back here for a second. Oh my, I didn't want to do that. Oh, no.
There we go.
Okay, house 1. So if, let's say I have Saturn here in my ascendant, let's just say, and we say Saturn looks 3rd, 7th, and 9th from itself. You're not gonna go, okay, here's Saturn, so 1, 2, 3. He's looking at the 3rd house. No, you count the house that the planet is in. 1, 2, 3. He's looking at the 2nd house. I'm sorry, the 3rd house. 4, 5, 6, 7. Looking at the 7th house. 8, 9. Looking at the 9th house. So each planet, you just look on a chart. It's that easy when you're new. Okay, Saturn, 3rd, 7 to 9. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we know I'm looking at the 3rd, the 7th, and the 9th house on this chart. Let's keep them open. Let's see what's shaking in there. That's okay. You get what I'm saying? It's really that simple. But when you turn on some of these videos, the people that know, who've been doing it for decades, they have a tendency to just blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean by 3rd from itself? Am I counting 1 over? Am I going to count that? I don't understand. And then people get frustrated. So you see why I'm doing this, to just break it down. Okay. So going back. Okay. So once we look at the aspects, once we look at, and by the way, it's called Lajatati Avasta. Okay. Okay. You don't need to write that down. It's going to be the term, but it means basically I always pick on Saturn because what the hell, everybody knows Saturn. And the basics of Saturn, what it represents. It is Saturn, let's say my Saturn in the 12th house. Is it gaining power because his friendly planets, because we have friendly planets, neutral planets, great friends, we have enemy, there's some planets that don't like each other. Depends. There's benefic planets, there's malefic planets. So let's say in those 3 houses that he's looking at, he's not getting any grief from anybody. Everybody's holding him up. Everybody is helping him out. Well, then he has a good Lajatati Avasta. He's getting help. If he has a bad one, well, then he's getting starved or sucked dry or whatever. We have to find out what's going on with Saturn's energy in our chart. That's the way you do it. That's not the only way you do it, but that's the beginner's way, the basic way of doing it. Okay? Okay. All right. All right. So how are we so far? I'm comfortable. I'm listening. Really? Yes. Okay, good. Are you completely overwhelmed? Like, I have no idea what this woman is talking about? I'm listening and I'm just taking it all in because I kind of feel like there's things that I'm understanding and then there's things that I'm not, but then you kind of, then I'm catching on as you show me examples. I'm just kind of catching it. But a lot of the words are pretty big words, and then I'm trying to write at the same time, just making sure that I understand what it is. But what I like to do is I always go back to the video afterwards. That way it makes it easier for me when I'm out of class and I can go back and I can go through it, and then it'll make more sense to me too. Exactly. Well, and remember, this is not really teaching you anything. This is just giving you the types of things that are telling you what the differences are between the systems and how we look at a basic chart, and that's it. Okay. When you're in class, we're going to take apart each and every one of these things. I'm even going to have a couple of teachers, a couple of guest speakers to explain certain things like Lajatati Avastas and things like that. So you're going to other people as well that are experts in things like nakshatras and whatnot to do videos for you. So you'll have it. I promise you. That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah. Great. Yeah, that's really good. So now this next point is Mahadashas and Antaradashas. Okay, so again, sounds horrible. It's very easy. Mahadasha, the top dog, the main dasha, the main period that a planet will rule your life from the moment you are born to the moment you die, and everywhere in between. You have a planet that will continue to change. Some of them will last 3 years, 7 years, 5 years, 18 years. I am in my Rahu period of 18 years, of which I have 15 left. These sub-periods are antardashas. They kind of hold the hand of the big cheese, whoever happens to be running your life at that point. And for me, it is Jupiter and Venus at this moment. So you'll have several what they call bhukti periods or antardashas. They're just sub-periods. So you've got the big guy at the top that's running the show for 18 years or whatever it is. And then every couple of years, months, whatever it is, which however long each one of those planets stick around, you are going to have assistance from them for good, for bad, for neutral, whatever.
So what happens after your 15 years?
I switch into another, I think it's Saturn.
Okay.
After 7 years, I switch into another planet. And then after 4 years, I switch into another planet, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Which you're going to get a chart that has all the Mahadashas and whatnot in it in the order from the time that you happen to be born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was born in Ketu period. I am now in Rahu period. That means Ketu is not going to come along again before I die. Because if you count up all the years that it takes each of the 9 planets to go through, not everybody goes through all of them.
Right.
Okay. And they each bring their challenges. They each bring their blessings, but they will be the main force and lens through which you see and act out your life and your karmas. Now, I am going to do my little soapbox routine on transits. Mercury is in retrograde. Oh my, oh my. And people chain themselves to the bathroom or the bedroom or wherever, and they don't want to come out. They don't want to move. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to do anything. They don't even want, they call in sick at work. They don't want to send an email. This must stop. Because this is in illusion. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Most important consideration, the Mahadasha and Antardasha. You can do nothing. Now this you can write down because this is probably the most important slide that you're going to see that I swear I want everybody to know before they even come up into my class. Because what happens is, and God bless their soul, listen, like I said, YouTube is a little Hollywood, Bollywood, whatever it is, and you have to do what your customers demand from you for entertainment. And I'm sorry, but there is way too much transit this and transit that out there. But it happens, and it's what people want, so that I'll probably get suckered into doing it as well. Maybe, if I decide to give in. That's me. I don't jump into anything. I think and I think and I think, even though I'm fire. So you can do nothing without considering Mahadasa and Antardasa periods. 3 rules. Number 1, Dasa period promises something to you. Transits don't.
Okay.
So what does this mean? Just because Mercury has gone retrograde, unless you are running a Mercury Mahadasha or some sort of bhukti period with Mercury, isn't going to happen. So why do a lot of people say in all these chat rooms, oh my God, yeah, did you guys feel it? Did you feel Mercury? No, you didn't feel Mercury. You didn't feel what you felt are other planets and things creating these other things happening that look like the same stuff that Mercury supposedly does during his transit. There are other things at play when electronics break down. Mars can be responsible for things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
when you learn things about your own chart and you learn how to break out these houses and aspects and transit and you'll go right to the, okay, what dasha, something weird is going on here. What dasha period am I running?
Mm-hmm.
That should be the first thing that you look at. Then you look at the transit. If the transits are moving with your dasha or subdasha period, it will promise something to you, good, bad, or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And if not going to happen. I.e., you go to an astrologer and, because Indian astrology for people are just all about predictions when it's really supposed to be getting to know yourself first.
Right.
That I'm pushing. But they do. Okay, so when am I going to buy a house? I want to buy land. Haven't you known these people who it's sadly tried to get property and everything they do turn to garbage? At the last minute they get gazumped. Somebody else takes it from them. Person dies and the will, because somebody didn't cross their T or dot their I on a paper, it goes south and it stays in probate forever. And it's like they're 90 by the time they get handed this house. It's because if your chart does not state that you are running the correct Mahadasha or Bhukti period to get that house, to get that inheritance, to get that child, to get that husband, you aren't going to get it. Because it is not part of your karmas to get it.
Wow.
This is why things happen at different times for different people. Why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? You have to understand one thing. This is one very deep philosophy about Vedic astrology and that culture. You have to look at your life as not being separate from your other existences. And this is something we are not taught. And it's something we can't wrap our heads around. Karma means action. That's all it means. One word. It does not mean crime. It does not mean punish. It doesn't mean what goes around comes around. The West is full of cliches. Don't buy into it. It is my mission to get people out of that mindset. It's limiting. Whatever you have done, whatever you have not done, whatever you are neutral about, whatever sometimes your generations have done or not done, or were neutral about, will give you in this particular lifetime or not give you something. And honey, you can stand on your head and do as many what they call remedies. You're going to hear the word remedies a lot in Vedic astrology. Now, I only know the most honest astrologers because I am a picky girl when it comes to anybody or anything in character. Because remember something, when you have something that's so ingrained in your society, in your culture, somebody's going to want to take advantage of it. So please don't pay $3,000 for an iron ring that you wear on your middle finger for Saturn or whatever it is. Take care of your life and just understand. Now, sometimes, when it has to do with health and things like that, when it's something incredibly heinous and you want to try to appease, fine, you can do a remedy. But there is only one remedy for anything, and that is doing what the entire purpose of being alive is, and that is going to the divine. The only way you bypass planets, the only way you bypass karma is to go and have a relationship with the divine. I don't care if it's going to church or temple or ashram or sitting in your bedroom talking to God. It's the creator, period. Okay? So once you've done that, you do it and you surrender. We're here to learn how to surrender, to peel off the ego and surrender. And you know what? I got to tell you, sometimes when you think you want something that badly and you start creating a relationship with the divine, you start meditating and you start making that connection, with enough of that, some of those desires disappear. Those desires that you had were karmic to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Yeah,
it?
I absolutely get it.
I'm feeling a, woo, okay. So,
me too.
in the Abrahamic religions, they call it an anointing, whatever.
Yes.
I'm feeling, I'm feeling the spirit, it's there.
Yes, yes.
And I do channel a lot of my information when planets, when I get them to talk to me, they talk to me and they're talking to you through me. And I enjoy it very much. So getting back to the main point, the Mahadasha is, the thing that triggers things. Now, karma, free will, destiny, free will, you just have to try to, because a lot of the spiritual, what I call the woo-woo, okay, gets into this thing where, well, you have to just raise your vibration and live above your chart or whatever. Okay. So I think, you know what? I think I'm going to address this right here. I'm getting the call that I need to address this. So let's do that. Are you in?
I'm in. Okay. I'm listening.
When you exert your will on something, you are still exerting God's will, because when there is no separation between you and the divine, your will becomes its becomes yours. There is no separation there. So there's no real such thing as, is this destiny? Is it destined? Am I just a puppet? Are you trying to tell me that if I really want a house, I can't get it because my frigging chart tells me I can't get it? Well, yeah, because your will, your soul's will, knows that you don't really want it. It's representing something else to you. And when you find out what that is through meditation, it will disappear. And something else in its place will come to fill that need that you felt so deep in your soul you needed that house for. Get it?
I get it.
All right. Okay. Whew, that was deep enough.
Yes. I totally get it.
All right. So now, okay, so we went through the natal chart being reflection of possibilities, the D9. Okay, good. I went ahead of myself. Goodness gracious. Oh, so we're kind of in the conclusion.
Okay.
There were some notes I made here of things that, let's see. Oh, okay. So back to sort of the transits and weekly forecasts and things like that you see. People are like, oh, this is your weekly forecast for Pisces. For this, if you're entertained by that, that's fine. And there is a little something to learn about those things. It will give you the general meanings for the energetic influences that are coming in. But remember what I said to you before, that you are of a different pada, different nakshatra, different everything than another Aries. So when you are looking for this, just say, okay, all right. So it says, there may be trouble on the horizon for your love life. Well, it depends, because now you're looking at, what do you look at next? Your Mahadasha period, your Dasha period. You're going to always go back to that. And when you look at that and you see what's promised to you, you're going to be like, that's nice, transit. Peace out. See you later. Not for me, because I'm getting this. Now, the Aries next door is not going to get this, but I'm going to get this because I'm running this Mahadasha period.
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to stand outside in the morning and be like, Om Shri Sukraya Namaha to my Venus, and I'm going to get and I'm going to honor my planets and the divine, and I am going to walk away in faith, and then you're going to forget about your desire. Let it just happen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me see. Maybe there were one or two more little things that I wanted to. Outer planets. I know people are going to ask about little Pluto and Uranus and Neptune, which I have not mentioned because we do not use them. And
Mm.
here's why.
Mhm.
Now, when I print out your chart in the class, you will get one chart that's strictly Vedic, and you're going to get another chart that's going to still be sidereal, but it'll have where those outer planets are.
Mhm.
But here is where the outer planets count and when they don't count. They don't count really with individuals, and here's why. And here's something that you'll learn about all the planets. Each planet, and you'll get a chart, believe me, everything I'm telling you, you're going to get a chart of some sort of table, tells you, good friend, bad friend, happy planet, unhappy planet, what's mul tricone, what's not. Don't worry about memorizing
Mhm.
any of it.
Mhm.
When you're an individual and you have a heavy, slow-moving planet, okay, like Pluto or Uranus or Neptune, and it takes forever, sometimes one of our full lifetimes, to make the circuit, it's
Mhm.
not going to do anything,
Mhm.
honestly. If you are looking at a chart for a huge group of people as a unit or a country,
Mhm.
yeah, sure. You can make predictions based on what's going to happen in politics, what's going to happen with the weather, climate change, things like that. But, uh, we don't use them to aspect other planets or anything like that. Only in very, very weird, offbeat topics like generational issues, I might look at this.
Mhm.
Because if you're having a serious issue with what they call generational curse, I don't like the word curse. They call it like chitra curses and things like that. That's a nakshatra that you see it in your horoscope. It might kind of mean that your ancestors were naughty and you came back your own ancestor. And that's another thing I want to touch on too. That is one point that I want to say in just a second. But I would not use any of those outer planets for any daily or monthly or yearly transit for anybody. They are just useless sitting out there. They are there to work on generations, okay, of
Mhm.
people, not individuals. Now, um, reincarnation. We're talking about buying into past lives and things like that, which you almost have to be. You definitely have to be in Vedic astrology. At
Mhm.
least you have to
Mhm.
be completely open to it. If your great grandmother did something karmically and you're paying for it, it's because more than likely you are your own great grandmother. Understand?
Wow.
Not like
Yes.
it's just a stream of people that when they die, it's over. You could have been, grandma, whoever that's hanging on the wall there in the picture. That could be you,
Mhm.
who is working out their karma again, but within the same lineage.
Mm. I didn't know that could happen that way.
It could happen that way. And in
Mm.
India, they have people all the time say, yeah, I know who I am. I'm that lady right there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's incredible that a lot of people, even their memories are not completely wiped out. But when you are, and that brings me to, this will be the last thing. It's just I get all turned up and I have to keep going. And it's like, you have to stop me. Um, that's channeling. Uh, when you're born in a certain country, especially like the United States of America, one of your karmic lessons, not lessons, I hate that word too, experiences, is to learn about power and materialism, because that's who we are,
Mhm.
whether we like it or not. Trying to change it now, that's fine, but I mean, when you incarnated. So it's wherever you're born is appropriate to what your lessons are. Don't ever say, oh God, I should have been born in another time, in another place. Oh, but the love of my life is, you know, a 17-hour flight away. Why? Well, because it's okay. It's okay. It's supposed to be like that.
Right.
You know, life is a little rough that way, but remember, you're here to learn certain things. And when you take that perspective, you understand why. When you're in India, there are other lessons to learn. If you're in Europe, there are other things to experience. So yeah, it's a wild ride. It's but you see now that there is such a vast depth and breadth of what Vedic astrology is, and I've just scratched the surface. This isn't even 25% of it, what I've told you. And I like to bring the culture into it rather than just separating it from the culture, because it gets you to understand so much more.
Right.
And that's it, my dear. That is it. So
I loved it.
Basically, then, if people want to go into my profile, the name's Phyllis Kentleton on ConnectStar. Of course, you have to register with www.connectstaronline.com. Is that correct?
They could just go to connectstar.com and then just go to the link, or they could do the ConnectStar online. It's either.
But they have to register in order to see it, right?
Correct. In order to see the video, yes, because it will be posted on the site for them to view it. So, oh, there he is.
Is somebody just coming on now?
Yes, you know. Hey, Manuel. He actually is one of our hosts that is going to be hosting on the 4th that I was telling you about.
Okay.
And he wanted to come in and meet you and sit in on the class. He's in Venezuela, so I think that he.
Oh, the time.
Yeah, I think there was a time difference there. So I don't know. Let me. So you can't see him either.
No, I can't see or hear anybody but you.
Okay, let me see if he. He's in the room. But I can't hear him either, so I don't know if he's just not speaking. But I did send like a message in chat to see if he saw that, because I know he's familiar with he is familiar with the class. Oh, okay. You sent them a chat. Okay.
Well, in any case, so people can go to the link, they can review the video, and then what is the date that my class is actually starting, class 1?
Yeah, you're doing your next scheduled class. You're doing the second and fourth Fridays in January. You're doing the second and fourth Friday.
Okay.
So your next class will be January 11th.
Okay. Oh, what happened? Oh!
2 classes, and they both will be posted on ConnectStar.
Okay, perfect.
So January
is unstable. Oh no.
Oh, right now it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's okay.
So the 11th and the 28th. Oh, did he say hi?
Yeah.
He says hi.
Well, can you hear me? Can you hear us, Manuel? See, I'm.
Yes.
Ah, hello. Welcome. I am so sorry about the time difference. We are an hour behind. We just concluded.
Yeah.
Oh no. So what I want to tell everybody is make sure I'm in Florida. So make sure that you set an alarm for Eastern Standard Time.
You know what I was going to do, I was going to mention about that, Phyllis, is that because there's so many different classes and everyone's on a different time zone, if we can just promote the classes on a Central Standard, there you are, on Central Standard Time.
Okay.
And that way no one gets confused. So everything with ConnectStar is on Central Standard Time. So that way I won't have, because some people are 13 hours ahead of us. Some people are 2 hours behind us, you know. So if we do this, yeah, there you are.
Okay, very good. Hi. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Hi there.
Okay, good. Good. All right, so that's what we will do. Again, and now once I stop the meeting, I'll go ahead
Okay.
and make sure that it's compressed. It will take about 1 minute or less to compress it. And then, Winnie, I will send you the link and you can put it up. And
Yes.
Emmanuel, you can start watching it immediately thereafter. And then if you decide
Right now.
class, yeah, just in a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and compress the video, and then you can play the video. It's just that it won't be live, but because wow, almost an hour and a half. So much for half an hour, but you get an hour and a half's material. And if you decide to take the course with me, of course, that'll be live. Winnie, I'll let you talk to him and others about the time. I'm just going to leave the time schedule to you.
Okay. Will you tell me? Are you doing the same time?
Yep.
You're doing the same time. Okay. So it's actually my time, 6 p.m. On the 11th and the 25th.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So happy birthday! I do hope you enjoy your birthday.
I did. This is my life. This is what I do. This is the best 50th birthday present ever. I would rather be doing this than out drinking or partying or anything else. Thank you so much, Manuel. Thank you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll let you stop on your side and Manuel stops on his side.
It's your birthday today.
Yes, it is. The big 5-0. Okay, so
Okay.
All right, so that I'm going to keep it recording on my side because I want to make a little salutation at the end, and then I'll go ahead and compress it. So I'll have you disconnect, and Manuel, you disconnect, and then I will compress, and you will get the link in the WhatsApp in just probably 10 minutes, Winnie.
Okay, and I'll just forward that over to him. So thank you so much for coming, Manuel. Okay, all right, Phyllis. So we'll talk soon. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See
You're
you later.
welcome. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody. So what's going to happen now? I am very much trying to get my face on here. I don't know how to do that from here. Hang on. Okay, but anyway. Thank you to everybody who joins. And now I'm going to go ahead and compress the video, and I'm going to, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everybody gets the link inside Connect Star. And if you decide you want to take the course with me, they are twice a month and is Introduction to Vedic Astrology, learning your own horoscope, the breakdown of the houses, the planets and everything, in order to synergize what's in your chart to know your soul better. Then if you would like to go further with me, level 1 astrology will go into predictions and things like that. So again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in another week. All right.